Thanks for joining us. Like, it's going to be a cold open for everything, but
Man, what an introduction.
hello and welcome into the Free Outside Show. It has been a busy September. Now we're finally in October. We had the Appalachian Trail record go down. The WURL went down. What else? Maybe other FKTs. But I thought I would just catch up on some of this stuff. So the Appalachian Trail record went down by Tara Dower, and she didn't just set the women supported record or anything like that. She set the fastest time ever on the Appalachian Trail. That's pretty crazy, but I think it also really shows that anything is possible. I hate that term, but it really does show that with a good crew, good preparation, good fitness, good plan, good execution, people can do anything. And I've heard a few places people talk about oh, now it has to be only seconds or minutes or a couple of hours that can come off the record now. Well, I look at all these FKTs as you can repeat what someone else did, but you can do it better. So all these are on the shoulders of giants for 50 years of FKTs. So let's just step back. FKTs are fastest known times, and it's setting the record on a trail. Usually the ones we talk about are the iconic trails like the Colorado Trail, the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, these trails that have had their history cataloged and their speed record attempts cataloged over years, forever. So before, there's now a fastest known time or times, one of them, fastest known time website. Let's see what it is. It's fastestknowntime.com website that shows all the records back quite a long time. But what it used to be was a pro board site, which it's sort of like the early days of the internet where you would have this forum. Someone would post Appalachian Trail record 60 days or something like that. And then it would go down where someone would break it. They'd put up their stuff. They'd put up some evidence. And that's how they kept track of FKTs and fastest known times. So it all migrated maybe in 2019. I was somewhat into FKTs before this, but most of my exposure has been since they migrated over to a real website. But before, it was just Buzz Burrell and Peter Pumpkin Eater. Wow. Peter Bachwin. So Buzz Burrell and Peter Bachwin started basically the idea of fastest known times and sort of ran and moderated a message board, a pro board, you might call it. And that is sort of how things went for the majority of the 90s, 2000s, into the 2010s. Then they moved over to the website, and then they sold the website to Outside. But what I think is interesting, and why I'm even talking about FKTs, other than the fact I can shoehorn in that I have a bunch of them, is that I think it's always interesting when a big FKT is set that everyone's like, this has never happened before. This will be this will stand for a super long time, all this stuff. But in reality, I think they all go down quite quickly, and it's pretty interesting if you look at it, because a lot of some of the best women's times are competitive, some of the men's times for years. Like in 2011, Jennifer Farr Davis set the FKT, the fastest known time, the fastest time ever supported on the Appalachian Trail at 46 days and 11 hours. And then in 2015, Scott Jurek set the FKT and got a lot of fanfare, but he didn't even break the women's FKT. He set it in 46 days and 8 hours. So Jennifer Farr Davis, JPD, was 2 hours faster. So I think this is more of a good reminder of how fast and accomplished women are versus I don't know, what would you call it? Like something completely new and novel. And so the other thing is 2018 is when Carl Sabe set the overall record of 41 days, 7 hours. But then this year, 6 years later, Tara Dower sets the new overall record of 40 days and 40 nights and then 18 hours. So I think these things will continue to keep going down with the benefit of support and knowledge and a new time to shoot for. People get faster. It happened so on the long trail when I set that record had stood for a decade plus. And then Josh Perry went out and broke the record in, it's called early June. And I was already planning to go for it in later June. And so he set the record. He broke it by a day or so. And then I went out there and I broke his record by 12 hours or so. So I was able to shoot for a faster, harder time because he had set a record. So all these records are on the shoulders of the people that came before. And if you set a record that lowers the time, that makes it something new to shoot for. And I think we're getting into that method and mode and time in the sport because there's so many people gunning for these things and they're so vaunted and really what people want to go after with their time that I think we're going to get more records going down, and they're going to go down by a lot. Like if enough, so think of it, if 100 people try for a record, maybe 4 or 5 has a perfect day, and maybe out of those 4 or 5, 1 or 2 have the fitness, crew, capability, and plan to set a crazy FKT. So I think we're just going to get into the law of numbers. But the other thing on that note is I think it's interesting how FKTs have blown up in quantity too. So not everyone has to go after the Appalachian Trail. In fact, I think because it's supported, it makes it really hard for the average person to go after it. Basically, what you would need to do is get some crew and pacers and money, all for people that can take over a month off to support you in going after a record like that, something all immersive. The PCT would be the exact same way, something longer where you have to have that full support system, probably a van and a ton of work along the way. So that kind of off the table for a lot of people because you just can't use your vacation to take 40 days off. But the fact that there's all these shorter routes out there, like currently there's 6,381 routes on the FKT website. And in the last week, there have been 7 added. I don't really know how weeks work, but I assume since October started, there's been 7 already added. And one of them is Mount Morrison 24-hour laps. So I think the big thing with FKTs and how we can take this monumental thing that Tara Dower has done is really turning it into motivation and the classic cliche of using that to chase whatever your own goals are, because there's literally a trail near you that you can go after if you want to go after an FKT. But that said, it's also not the only way to hike things. I think it's cool that Tara set the record because it is a longer trail, and she's also through hiked it. So this isn't her only exposure to the Appalachian Trail. Almost everyone before her that had the FKT, at least in the supported style, especially the men, had not truly through hiked the trail. So I think you're kind of missing some of that magic, and any other AT through hikers out there probably know that it's a very unique trail experience out there, especially how it's integrated within all these trail communities. I mean, the Appalachian Trail is amongst like 100 million people. So it's basically a corridor with shelters that you can camp at and, 10,000 other people backpacking, through hiking, trail running, using the land for what it's intended. So it's pretty special to get that experience as first a through hiker to appreciate, and then as the overall record holder. All right. That is my spiel on the AT FKT. That's a lot of letters in there. And let's see. Another FKT went down the WURL. I think this one's like super local, if anyone even knows it. So it's a crazy route. It combines, oh man, like every possible summit you can do on the Wasatch Front. So it's called the Wasatch Ultimate Ridge Link Up, dubbed WURL. And basically you start kind of in the valley by Salt Lake City, and then you climb straight up and then follow the true spine in like a U shape of the mountains in the Wasatch. I actually did this last year with my friend David, and it's pretty hard. The true goal, the true plan, the true whatever doesn't have a trail for 90% of it, let's call it. Basically, you're just trying to stay on the truest crest of the trail as you can and loop around and set the record. I think Joey Camps may have had the record before this, and it was kind of one of those records that you look at and you're like, yeah, I don't want to spend that much time going after something. So that's David Hedges set that record in, let's see, David Hedges set that record in like 14 hours, 7 minutes. And that beat, I guess, Jason Darius had previously had the record. But anyways, the route is 33 miles long with 18,000 feet of elevation gain and largely off trail. So pretty crazy route for anyone looking to go after something that's insane. There's also no water up there, and obviously no food caches, so that is a consideration. All right, current things, what we have going. This is more of like a spiel podcast or like a just talk to the microphone thing. But I finished the stage race about a week and a half ago. I'm still pretty tired and not running well, but I'm signed up for Javelin 100 here in 3 weeks. So I just got to figure that out. I've been on a couple runs. I took about a week off, but my plan to turn stage racing fitness into 100-mile fitness is basically going to be to stack flat miles. Like, I'm assuming with the added weight that I ran with during the stage race and climb, you can comment right on the episodes. As always, we're looking for 5-star reviews out there. It was my grandma's 90th birthday on Friday. So let's see, 6, 5, 4 on Thursday. And it was my dad's birthday on Friday. My parents are Long Trail into Enders. They just finished their backpacking trip on the Long Trail. I'm quite an influencer by getting them out there. And I'm also just looking forward to trying to figure out what kind of goals I want to do next year. So if anyone has any ideas, I think I probably need to write another book, but I would really like to get an agent and a book advance so I could be rich. Okay, I think we're going to keep this episode pretty short because I am pretty tired and way behind on life. I got up at 3 a.m. twice in the last week to travel because I went home so we could celebrate my grandma's birthday. So it's been pretty wild. I had 2 athletes do 100-milers over the weekend. So throw in that coaching stress. They did awesome. Both were top 8 and one was top 3. So that is pretty sweet. Yeah, still coaching everything. If you want to, I guess we can do this as plugs for me. So if you want to read my book, it's probably at your local library, but you can buy it online, Kindle, or audiobook. If you want to eat my meal, I think you can buy it pretty much anywhere online and maybe in person at like Bass Pro Shop or maybe Walmart or something. And if you want to listen to my podcast, you're already doing a good job. And if you want to watch my movie, it's currently free on Tubi. Tubi.com, it's free. Or you can buy it on Amazon or Apple Play or Google Play. It's at all those things. If you want to read my website, It's online all the time, just like most websites. It's at freeoutside.com. And if you want, I think that's it. I think I covered it all. All right, until next time, stay elite, my friends.